sense of this is not the good old boys club, look at how it's structured. Where's the woman at? On the side. Who's the one cast aside? On the side. And my point that I'm trying to make tonight is that I want accountability to be held to us as council members. And that's what I was elected to do, and that is what I'm going to do. With regards to the second item under bank statements, this is very important. I'm going to state this. I would like to see original bank statements, not copies, because there are original bank statements out there. I don't need everybody to see. As a council member, and with regards to these accounts, I would like to see the original statements, not copies. Where I have been quoted and I have said, where there is one, there are many. We must continue to look, because where one popped up, a second one popped up. There are more out there. I can't prove it. Nothing can be proven. How did these come out? They came knocking at our door. Shame on us. We should have known. Somebody came knocking on our door to say, hey, your account's been dormant. We should have known that. We should have known that beforehand. With regards to embezzlement, the quote was, in corporate America and in the public sector, if a mistake like this was to have been done, somebody would have been fired by now. There would have been accountability by now. Instead, it's your tax dollars. It's mine. And everybody, you're right, Mr. Salazar, I thought it would be Storm, because I'm mad. Where is the money at? I'm mad. I want to know.
They told us where the money was.
With regards to moving on, I do want to make sure.
Be quiet, Larry.
Ladies and gentlemen, if we can please keep order. Ms. Cortez is doing her public world, and as much as everybody would like to rebuttal to what she's saying, including us up here in the dais, we must give her her respect because it is for a council forum. So if we can please hold the comments and hold order, please.
So as I sit up here, and as I continue to be criticized, I will continue to take it. I'm not going to stand down. I'm going to make sure that I continue to try to get the information that I need to make the best decisions for this city. And that's what I have to say. Let me go back to a statement. This was the one. Montebello City Council meeting, Wednesday, May 12th. This is on a consent calendar. Understand, on a consent calendar, we're just going along. We pass it. I pulled it off the consent calendar, and everybody, oh, here she goes again, pulling stuff off the consent calendar. Item number 29, destruction of records, Department of Finance. Do you think that a city like this in our condition needs to be destroying records? And I raised the point then, and thank you very much for the colleagues that supported me at the time to leave it in place for 1 year. That was Mayor Barajas and Councilman Perez at that time. Moving on to my second piece of information, my third item that I wanted to bring up. There is a town hall meeting that is scheduled for Thursday with regards to a project that is going on in the city. I have been asking who is sponsoring this program, and I have yet to get an answer. I have spoken to the Congresswoman's office, who has said, no, we are not sponsoring this. We have nothing to do with this. I have been asked, who is sponsoring this? Because we have Montebello bus lines on the bottom. Is our staff doing it? What is going on? I received a little card, which I'm sure some of you may have as well. The question that I have is, why is it that myself, as a council member, doesn't know who it is and says that there's 5 Montebello project alternatives, which I don't even know about? I know we have some alternatives. I don't think they go up to 5. So who's responsible for holding this town hall? Somebody can answer it. There's this town hall on February 24th, Thursday, regarding the ACE project. Who is sponsoring this?
Mr. Cosentini, do you have that answer?
Mr. Mayor, the first time I heard of this town hall meeting, the congresswoman was standing right there, and she had addressed the council on the ACE issue, and then she talked about this kind of regional meeting that was going to be held on the 24th. So the councilwoman announced it and actually set the date. Later on, Vice Mayor Gomez called me and was talking about this meeting, and I may have misunderstood Vice Mayor Gomez, but what I gleaned from that discussion was that it was my perception that ACE was the lead agency, and I conveyed that to my Director of Transportation, and from our discussion, putting our oar in the water and wanting to help publicize and make sure all the good people of Montebello would know about it and come and participate, she created this flyer, and it said, and this was our director's perception at the time, and from my conversation, presented by ACE. So that was certainly my perception of who was the lead agency and what was going on. I may have misconstrued those things, but that's what I know, and that's what I thought.
Is ACE sponsoring this?
It was my presumption that they
I'd like to ask the representative from ACE. Is ACE sponsoring this?
Like I mentioned in an email that was sent to both AJ, Mr. Cosentini, and to Lillian, this is a regional meeting on transportation issues. It is not a city meeting. It is to cover issues that are regional and not just a Montebello issue. The Congresswoman approached me, as well as here in the dais, to speak on issues that are related to not only Montebello but surrounding areas. Because she sits on both the Congressional Transportation Committee and the Subcommittee on Railroads, Pipelines, and Hazards, it sounded like something we should all embrace, not something we should criticize. Because when a congresswoman or congressman wants to utilize our city and its facilities to speak on something so very important, and certainly the issue with respect to the railroad here in the middle of Montebello is certainly quite integral to many of us here in the city. We felt, the ACE board, the congresswoman, the supervisor, Gloria Molina, myself and the ACE board felt, why not have it here in Montebello? We've invited not only people within Montebello, but also surrounding cities, elected officials, and sent out word to other organizations that surround the city. The ACE facilities, the ACE board paid for thousands of cards that went out within a certain jurisdiction here in Montebello and its surrounding areas. So there was no, from what I know, no cost to the city of Montebello. So it is our feeling that because of the importance of the railroad over the past several months, that criticism is one thing, but certainly it's something that we should embrace because we do want an answer to the solution of the railroad track. So, like I mentioned in the beginning of my discussion here, and it was copied to Lillian and to AJ and Mr. Cosentini, that's how all of this was transformed over the past month and a half. A councilwoman mentioned about the multiple projects that have been delineated multiple times here by Mr. Rick Richmond, and which have been delineated multiple times over the past several years. They have been spoken about, and which will be spoken about in tomorrow's meeting at 5:30. So, I encourage all of you, or as many of you, to come to that meeting at the Senior Citizen Center tomorrow night at 5:30.
Okay, so, excuse me, Mr. Molinari, give me 1 second. So, Mr. Gomez, the question